Probably the reason why I'm shadow banned is because of the public relations problem I pose to the psychopathic war criminals at Sound Mental Health who held me hostage for about 15 years, and the Washington and Pennsylvania State Bar Associations who ignored the evidence of pornographic genocide in favor of covering for an extermination syndicate in the US government. Probably. I mean, that's not really likely to be good for public relations if it got around. But because University of Washington, University of Pittsburgh, Carnegie Mellon University, community college system are full of arrogant, stupid people, it's necessary for me to continue to talk down to the Commonwealth in an attempt to enlighten them so that they can do a better job of protecting themselves. When I say stupid people, I mean just that. And I'm going to explain so that you can wise up. Okay, it's exceedingly stupid to ignore that Yoko Ono is a craven, cruel, diabolical enemy of the United States of America. Now, Joe Biden is like some kind of helpless robo president who keeps spouting the parrot thing about democracy, protecting democracy, while covering for brutal assassins and child molesters and all of the other things. He uses semantics and dacoity from the federal establishment to cover up with his friends like Jay Inslee and whoever is governor of Pennsylvania these days, and the Todds and so on. When I say it's stupid, what I mean to say is it's stupid to have the alliance that you have going. Let me give you an explanation. You're comfortable. I have no doubt you're comfortable with the idea that the death certificate that Yoko Ono has confirms that John Lennon was really shot. And you're comfortable with the idea that his invisible presence, the spiritual cartel, has made a gigantic manhunter out of AIDS victims on the West Coast for the Green Party in search of patriarchs and their little boys to devour in the name of social equity and Christian socialism and other theories of spinner beanie intelligence. Okay, so we know where Pramila Jayapal is coming from. We know where the Northwest Asian Weekly is coming from. We know where Shifty is operating from. But it's stupid because the language system indicators of machine intelligence in the index of this artificial intelligence bizarro, the circus of Zappa and Ringo Starr that went around, has certain deficiencies. For one thing, the death certificate of John Lennon does not say that James Curry is responsible. That is a force that Greg Carl impinged on the persona's experience with the help of Greg Starr-Cynic, Ringo Starr, and the transplant people like Stars or Whit Pitt. So you have this bizarre theme that they're using to steal from us, from museums, from our culture, from our Commonwealth, while presenting themselves as avenging spirits who are indelible. Swami Nostras who can read the minds of the people who they have put to death and engineered entertainment for their screams, which is what they've been doing. Roger Waters is an old hand at this orchestration mania that they have zapped us with while forcing us to confront climate change as a gun to the head or else. And they brought us to the brink of World War III, and their little symposium of super militarist tragedy in the Ukraine with both sides saying, we're fighting each other, don't bother us with our conspiracy. We're fighting each other. We're too busy fighting each other to be answerable for our insane um, ideas of rapine orchestrations, theater of the real, or whatever how they say to each other as um, oligarchs with their cigars and kicking back and enjoying Westmoreland County and Mel Gibson tap dancing routines, the various things, shows and dances, dancing girls they put on and stuff. It's stupid because the index involves the idea of making, for one thing, me an invisible man in an invisible trial. You think, oh, that's just found art. They found the script and decided to do that. Penis Gabriel put it on so without even a glance at the script. He didn't need to see it to know what it said because he could see through walls. And he was going to impinge on the neuroplastic system that he had implanted, the persona's experiences, and tell us how it all is. And it's going to unfold in narrative from the British Empire. Well, the idea of an invisible force actually is significant because they used the Houdini of John Lennon. They actually allowed him to escape. It was a double fantasy. It's like a 50, British idea of 50-50 is they get $50 and we get a 50-cent Kennedy half. That's their idea of 50-50. And they say that the invisible man is real. Well, that means you pulled a Houdini. And they used the index Casper for this invisible man. Before John Lennon was even uploaded this pretzel, they already had Casper in place. So Casper and the Invisible Man were all getting prepared. It goes back to Blythe Cinders, which is Blaze from the Cinders. It's an assumed name, a phoenix. Again, the Invisible Man. They use Lazarus from back from the dead, and it turns out that their fourth dimensionalism from Ouspensky was learned from Gurdjieff, who was torturing people in their souls in Vichy, Paris, to help the Gestapo. It's obvious what he's doing. And the age of Houdini and Einstein, whose name appears in the loudest letters at the very origin and birthplace of this, is Gabriel D'Annunzio. Fayum saw the birthplace of the great dictators. It's where D'Annunzio inspired Mussolini. It showed the birthplace of the American system of studios in films. That's where D'Annunzio influenced D.W. Griffith. And it showed a den of counterfeiters. The great dictators, counterfeiters, and cinema all head back to D'Annunzio. And Blythe Cinders had an invisible arm. He lost one in World War I. So the idea of an invisible arm, it's the most straightforward thing you can think of for this artificial intelligence indexing of Herb Simon's machine intelligence. Remember Y2K and stuff, where they use repetitious symbols? Is the Wizard of Oz, the face behind the curtain, the bellowing banshee, who's just a little old Captain Kangaroo. Well, this is the system that they perfected, and they made it perfectly clear in the film The Killers, starring Ronald Reagan, what they did in Dealey Plaza with JFK. Is to example him with the higher power of the god of Axis Hollywood. Zapped him right between the eyes, zap. That's supposed to be the white, almost, they used to say was white for morning. It was released November 22nd, 1968. Check the Wikipedia if you don't believe it. They don't say anything about mourning. All the children saying, ha 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 ha, we got your president. Nah, nah. And this is, and it was child's play compared to the double fantasy ticket that they pulled. But ultimately, that's what they wanted to do all along, right up to the concluding, you know, forcing house of global warming. Black Sanders talks about the film at the end of the world back in, the 20s or 30s or something. It's in the invention of life. How's that for a name for a book about something? So they just invented a whole plastic reality. Lenin was constantly carping about plastic realities, and so was Bowie. And they were, everything is imaginary, nothing is real. And then they pulled this stuff. And it goes back to D'Annunzio. And you stupid people are allying the United States in the name of this wizard of monotony, Joe Biden. This wizard of monotony. You're allying us with the inspiration for the great dictators. The Black Panthers have allied their legacy with the man who made the film Birth of the Nation based on the Klansman. It's not a joke. Cornel West can't make the world spin backwards by making his spinner beanie spin backwards. He probably has some brilliant circuit dudes who can make his spinner beanie spin backwards, but it's not going to undo his devious stupidity in going along with Two Virgins Pussy Ball. We have a place over here called Greg's Japanese Cars or something like that. And Midori's Teriyaki. Seattle was right plugged in heart and center. Bill Gates was right plugged in heart and center to Carbon Health. Get it? Carbon Health and Shell. Neva Corporation implant in a Manson ordeal made for TV were her initials. The Carrot Tape, the Rabbit and the Magic Hat, that Gregor Morgan and George Bush Jr. extruded from a victim who they had tortured as a little boy. And the only thing Seattle can say is, "Stump down, pee-pee, we want to hear more about your wiggling noodle. We want to hear more about your wiggling. Give Michael Reagan his favorite scene some more." That's the Seattle professional psychologists are a lampoon of themselves. And yet as vicious as a lampoon as they could possibly come. They rip a murdered girl to death. And we're supposed to go, wow, shows how much they care. Wow,